Alright.
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 Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to the weekly Bosh number
4.
Four.
Yes, 4 game weeks of Premier League football.
I probably should have seen that. This is a good one. Probably the most manic, destructive, insane weekend of football I've ever watched in my entire life.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it?
It was a very interesting. I mean, first of all,
what happened?
a couple of things happened that could be described as abnormal. I mean, I just want to make it very clear. If you are a Manchester United or a Liverpool fan, we are not going to go easy on your team.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. I have waited 2 seasons for a chance to dig out Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. And now I've got it.
It hasn't happened, but now we're here.
We made it, boys. We made it. So, yeah, I don't need to explain to you what's going to happen. If you don't know what's happening, then where have you been?
Where have you been?
What have you been doing? Get your head out of a bin, and come and start listening to us talk rubbish for 45 minutes to an hour.
But I will say, for those of you who haven't been here before, we're going to be going through last week's matches, creating the power rankings, and then we'll be finishing off with our predictions. Yeah?
Yeah. I'm assuming we're doing predictions for next weekend's Premier League games.
Yeah.
We'll do it in advance.
Yeah.
We're ahead of the curve, guys.
Yeah, we'll do another one. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. We'll do well.
It'll be fine. Yeah. It's fine. We're all good.
Let's smash through. Before we start, if you listen to this right now, scroll down, click that little like button. I know you want to. Helps us out, and we really appreciate all the support. And yeah, I think that's everything.
I've actually got a connection from the like button superimposed to my undercarriage, so every time we click it, I get a little tickle. It's really nice. So if you could just do that for me, that'd be great.
Good. Glad. your undercarriage. Okay, moving on swiftly. Let's go to Saturday's results. First one, I think you'll probably like to talk about for a second. Chelsea 4, Crystal Palace 0. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't want to get carried away with it. I don't want to be dramatic about this, but let's be honest, it was the performance of the weekend.
I'm overstepping. I'm actually going to disagree with you there.
I'm overstepping. All right, fine. But look, finally, I got to watch Chelsea perform the way that I've been expecting them to perform for a few weekends now. I feel like this has been a result that's been coming, to be honest. Everyone's kind of waited for Chelsea to click into gear. While I didn't think we were actually as good as we could have been on Saturday, we got the results. And Ben Chilwell looks like a proper player, which makes me very excited. Yeah,
no, he looks really good. Shored up that defence very nicely against a very... And proved to be a good attacking option the other way as well. I think that's something that you lack. I mean, obviously, Marcus Alonso is a very attacking player, but his defensive duties sometimes lack. So I feel like Chilwell coming in and having that good of a performance is a real statement for Chelsea. And if they can sort of keep up that defensive solidity with the potent attack that they have, then I feel like it's going to be a really good season for them.
Yeah, and I think it's our first clean sheet of the season. Obviously, it's Mendy's first game in goal. Thiago Silva played a lot better on Saturday, having got 90 or 45 minutes at the Hawthorns under his belt.
Yeah,
he looked a lot more assured and a lot more confident in the role. And actually, if you watch the game, he was actually dictating play at the back. Anyway, he played 107 passes on Saturday. Thiago Silva.
Yeah,
which is a massive amount for a centre back to be playing. But everything that came out of the back line was coming through him. Sometimes he'd go up into the midfield and dictate things from there. So
that's what I think he brings, is sort of an orchestrator of the entire team, which Chelsea have been lacking as well. So he had a poor performance at the Hawthorns the weekend before, but at the same time,
he's made up for it.
Yeah,
this weekend. That's what I said last week. I think he needed to understand the pace of the Premier League. And I know Crystal Palace aren't the best side, but they have caused trouble for teams. Well, they've caused trouble for teams in their opening games. They beat United.
Not hard.
More on United later. But overall it was a very positive performance. I thought Havertz looked good. Everyone looked solid. And
Yeah,
it's definitely a foundation.
My only concern was Werner coming in off the left, which I didn't exactly agree with.
No, that's something that I think will be fixed as soon as Ziyech and Pulisic are fully fit.
Yeah,
I
just
think
didn't look natural up there. So
no, he's not. Well, he played as an inside forward at Leipzig. So that was where he kind of played off Patrick Schick.
Yeah.
But Frank Lampard is playing him right out on the left-hand side, and I just don't think it's his role.
No, it's not a winger.
Really not his position.
Next result, Everton 4, Brighton 2.
This was a manic game.
Yeah, it was mad, wasn't it? Another James Rodriguez masterclass as well.
Yeah.
You can't really say a lot more than that. Another goal for Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. He's keeping up his good tally.
Yeah, and goal of the game from Yves Bissouma at the end.
Banger.
Absolute rocket.
Yeah.
What I'd say about this one is Everton are really, really looking like a proper outfit.
Yeah.
Because you can see an Everton team last season coming up against Brighton and struggling in a fixture like this.
Yeah.
They needed to be organised and they needed to deal with the danger that players like Tariq Lamptey, and I think that was actually Lamptey's worst game in a Brighton shirt against Everton.
Yeah.
Because he had to kind of deal with the power that Iwobi brings and Digne at the back as well. I think he came up against the best left side he's played.
Yeah, definitely. Everton sort of bring a threat with them now, I think. You go into a game against Everton and you think, oh, that's going to be a tricky one. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and James Rodriguez, as we say. But the whole team is really nicely balanced, and I think that's what is Everton's strong point this season. And we'll see if they can really push on, because we've seen this before from Everton. Sort of good start, new signings doing all right, and then it just sort of tailing off into mediocrity. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I will say, you can kind of see how good a manager Ancelotti is.
Yeah.
Both of James Rodriguez's goals were identical.
Yeah.
So you can and they both look like training ground routines that have just completely split through a team. Yeah. You can really see where he wants Rodriguez to be, and you can see his influence on the team as well. It's really important. I think he's definitely the best manager Everton have had, potentially ever.
Yeah. Shade on Sam Allardyce, but all right.
You're so from East London. You know that? The next one, Leeds against City. I said this was going to be a good game. I said this was going to be a good game.
Yeah.
More drop points for City, but a very spirited performance from Leeds, who actually, I think, deserved the draw.
Tell me why I went into this game feeling like City were almost the underdogs.
I think because there's this such buzz around Leeds at the moment because of the fact that they were such a powerhouse in the league, and they've got Bielsa and they've got Patrick Bamford, who seems to want to score for fun.
Yeah, well, that's another thing as well, because Pep is just waxing lyrical about Bielsa in every single newspaper that he can be. And I think when you big up a manager that much, you sort of setting yourself up. You've got to be there and compete. And I feel like City just weren't and haven't been really at the races yet. Debut for Ruben Dias as well, who played all right. But when's it going to properly click for City? That's what I'm wondering.
If you're a City fan, right? I mean, you're listening to Pep Guardiola talk waxing lyrical about how good Bielsa is.
Yeah, how he's the best manager ever, best manager he's ever seen. 4
games into a season, when you've been absolutely caked last weekend against Leicester.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to hear your manager talking about?
No.
In the press about how good Leeds' his manager is?
No.
No. To me, it almost felt like he was covering himself.
Yeah.
I think he was aware of the fact that City were going to struggle against this Leeds side because of the football they play.
Yeah.
Was he subconsciously trying to kind of play down?
Early,
play down or ramp up how good he thinks Bielsa is and how good Leeds are.
Yeah, we know he's good. We don't need Pep Guardiola to tell us. Right, next one.
We know,
Go on. Newcastle 3, Burnley 1. Just a really good win for Newcastle. Callum Wilson again showing that he belongs here, and he's just he's just really good for Newcastle. I think he's a really good fit.
Yeah, I think he was waiting for a club to believe in him, to be honest, because he's got to play for this now because he's come from a team that's been relegated. This is him being resurrected into the Premier League. You know, he could quite easily be playing Championship football at the moment, but Newcastle, I'm not going to say took a chance on him, but Newcastle gave him the opportunity to come back up and play football at the big table. And I think he's confident and he's ready to repay that faith. And you're right, he's playing really well.
And Burnley, just three losses in a row, 100% loss record so far. Alarm bells ringing for Burnley, or is it still early season?
Potentially. I mean, look, if we're going to talk about Sheffield United and Burnley, alarm bells ringing, we need to talk about Burnley. I think there's worse teams. I think Burnley didn't actually look all that bad on Saturday evening from the bits of the games I saw.
No.
But, you know, at the end of the day, they haven't won.
No.
So,
and it is difficult because obviously, you know, Sean Dyche has had no financial backing from the board, spent £0 in the summer transfer window, and, you know, West Ham fans have been up in arms about that, myself included, for the entire summer about the lack of investment. And I just think Burnley sort of goes under the radar about how much Sean Dyche has been almost working miracles there for seasons now. So is this where the magic stops for Dyche, and is this team just not good enough for Premier League football anymore? And obviously Tarkowski rumbling up the dressing room recently as well. It's a difficult time for Burnley, but we'll see if they bounce back from it.
Potentially.
Yes. Right, should we move on to Sunday's fixtures? Sorry. We can
do.
Southampton 2, West Brom 0.
I just want to say before we start Sunday's fixtures, this was the most ludicrous day of football I've ever watched in my entire life. Absolutely ridiculous. From West Ham starting the day beating once Premier League champions Leicester all the way through till we know what the last result of the day was. The most crazy, ridiculous, ludicrous, just football. Bloody football.
Do you know what? Football.
It's absolute brilliant best. And if anyone wants to ask you why football is the most beloved sport in the world, right? Get them to watch Match of the Day 2 from the other day. And you will understand why football is so good. First game of the day, you probably can't believe how well you lot are playing.
It was Southampton, West Brom, the first one, I think.
No, it was Leicester. Oh, it was there were two kickoffs earlier on in the day.
Well, then may I quickly play a song?
God. There's a bit of a gap here. You should have pre-prepared this.
I did.
We just talk. I'll fill the gap. So,
West Ham United.
Let's talk about.
I'm playing the music. Can you not hear it?
No.
Oh crap!
Can't hear a thing yet.
Oh well. I hope they can. West Ham United.
This is the most West Ham thing anyone's ever done ever.
They're going to be in the Champions League this season. Mark my words.
We're trying to be professional.
Excuse me. You said VAR was the same as communism yesterday, so you can just shut your mouth.
I'm right. I completely stand by everything I say.
Okay, we'll talk about the game.
We'll come at the game, please. Let's move on.
West Ham are good sometimes. 2 clean sheets on the bounce against Leicester and Wolves. 7 goals scored. What's going on? David Moyes, stay at home, please. Don't need him. Alan Irvine.
I was going to say, David Moyes is the greatest football manager player of all time.
I think he might be. We'll try and get him on the network save, actually. Cause...
Well, yeah. Me, you, a couple of the Hawks boys, and Moisey.
Well, he's not doing anything, is he? He's sitting at home.
No, he's not busy. He's sitting at home, probably eating some haggis.
Yeah.
Trying to sort his testicle face out.
Right, okay. You're just jealous.
I am very jealous. No, do you know what? We've got Frank. It's fine.
Yeah.
A really good performance from Leicester. Dodgy VAR decision. Oh no, not a good performance for West Ham. Dodgy VAR decision for Leicester. dodgy VAR decision for Leicester.
Jared
by that time,
Bowenino and
yeah,
Pablo Fornals and Michael Antonio. Oh
I
my god.
watched Jared Bowen's goal go in, and I texted you asking him when he turned into a Galactico, because your team is just playing like
Unbelievable.
you look brilliant.
Yeah, I know. It's the same. It's the formation. It's the 5-4-1. Every man behind the ball, and just wait for him to come to you and
Just
be solid, and then
Antonio.
lump it to
Give
Antonio.
it to Antonio.
But the Fornals goal was sensational from him. The
Yeah,
touchdown
brilliant.
was just ridiculous.
Sam Davis-esque.
Yeah, some would say. He's been watching videos clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a good debut from Kufal as well, our right back signing. But yeah, it's good. It's really
Generally
really
good game.
good. I'm happy. It's good.
Probably the dead weight at the weekend next. Southampton 2, West Brom 0.
Wow. Yeah. Just a routine win for Southampton, I think.
It was a bit dull in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's a good goal from Gineppo. I think he played quite well, and he has always been quite exciting for Southampton. So
2 good goals, an absolute rocket from Romeo as well on the volley.
Roqueta.
So yeah,
West
there's not
Brom,
much else to say.
crap.
Southampton again. I can't say again because obviously, but yeah, West Brom potentially in trouble.
Mm.
And yeah, not much else to say about that apart from it was good for Southampton. I don't know. Arsenal against Sheffield United. Finally a goal for the Blades, but still no points
as well from a goal trick. Took it well.
Was a good goal. Still no points.
Not enough, and 2 goals scored in very quick succession sort of killed the game off for Sheffield, I think.
They switched off Sheffield United. As soon as the first one went in, it looked like shoulders went down and their body language changed, and then Arsenal very quickly got the second.
Another good performance from Bukayo Saka as well, who's looking very good this season.
Looks superb. He's found his way into my fantasy team actually this week. I've decided to take a chance on him, but no, fantastic, and I'm happy. I'm happy he's got his England call up as well, because he looks a very good player. And Reece James as well got his England call up a couple of days ago because Sterling dropped out. So.
Relatively happy with the England team. If I'm being honest.
I think that's probably a conversation for a different time.
Yep.
But no, Arsenal coming away with the points, and generally a pretty solid performance from them.
This is what Arsenal needed. It's what they haven't had in previous seasons. They didn't grind out results.
Yeah.
And like the West Ham game, that was another 2-1. They just held on and looked pretty sound defensively, and I think that's down to the formation that Arteta's employed, which is similar to the West Ham one, but obviously a little bit more attacking. But and I don't know whether he's planning on ditching that if he gets obviously Thomas Partey coming in is another really good addition for them to solidify it. So we'll do a transfer roundup next week, but I think good for Arsenal.
And then Wolves getting a result against Fulham. Both of these teams are actually looking pretty poor this season, I've got to say. Wolves obviously,
surprisingly.
I think Wolves have the squad to be able to turn this around, and I think they will. It could just be a poor start for them, but Fulham again just look completely lifeless up front.
Yeah, you can't.
It's another game.
Much more than that, can you?
No, it's another game that they just look disappointing, and this really was a game with Wolves not playing very well. They could have potentially got a point in, but again, they just don't look like they're at the races at all.
We'll see what happens with the Loftus-Cheek deal, and if that
he's gone.
Well.
Done.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, he's gone to Fulham, so we'll see how he plays for them.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping he can rediscover some hunger and some actual drive, because it was something he looked like he was lacking at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And whether that's because he's come back from a big injury and he knows he's not first name on the team sheet anymore.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
just 3 points. All you can say is 3 points to Wolves. That's it. Right, we're gonna quickly talk through these 2 results because we've got them both in the power rankings. Obviously, we'll go into more depth then. But 6-1 and 7-2.
I think we can talk about these 2 together because there's a big diametric opposition between these 2 games. They're both absolutely disgraceful results for both clubs.
Yeah.
Right. But if you want to talk about the attitude that everyone has in general towards the two clubs that have lost the games, Liverpool's one, I think everyone is looking at and going, right, freak result. But everyone is expecting Liverpool to bounce back.
Yeah.
With United, everyone looks at this and going, this is a club in serious trouble.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, no one has been calling for Jurgen Klopp's head after this Aston Villa result. And if you did, I'm sorry, you're mental.
Yeah.
If you're trying to, complete and utter. But the alarm bells, I think, are ringing for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job.
I think that's part of it is sort of detracted away from Ole in the fact that the fans are also attacking the board at the moment as well for the lack of recruitment that's gone on this summer. So that's another thing that you need to take into consideration. But yeah, a lot of people calling for Ole to quit or to get sacked. We'll see if that happens. If results like this continue, and obviously Martial suspended for is it only one match because it was VAR, wasn't it?
No, is it 3? It's 3 games for violent conduct.
No, because it was the referee straight away, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's 3 games for violent conduct.
Yeah.
So we will see. But yeah, I think there is much more of an issue at Manchester United than there is at Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah. But we've got to say, with these 2 results, it's easy to concentrate on the losers, but the victors, Spurs played fantastically.
Well, they're both on our positive power rankings this week.
Aston Villa, can you believe it? I haven't been so shocked by a result in years.
Ever. I've never seen a result like this.
Yeah.
I've never seen a team like that do something to the reigning champions.
Yeah. I thought it was mental that West Brom scored 3 against you the other week.
Yeah.
And then Aston Villa, just looking quality, really good.
This is invincible Liverpool as well. This is Liverpool with Trent and Robertson and Fabinho and Van Dijk and Gomez.
Yeah.
This is the hard to beat, almost mercurial Jurgen Klopp team.
Yeah. And
suddenly they are very, very beatable.
Yeah, well, especially with Adrian in goal. We'll talk about him later on.
Anyway,
but yeah.
We'll move on to our good power rankings because we're going to start talking about Aston Villa straight away.
I think Aston Villa just they just got everything spot on. They did have sort of the rub of the green a lot of the time. I think they scored 3. 2 of them were extremely lucky deflection goals. And obviously that kills the game, but you have to be there, and you have to take those shots for them to go in. And I just think they just sort of Jack Grealish just poked holes in that Liverpool's defence the entire time. He was so tricky to beat, and I think with a player like I've forgotten his Watkins, he's now got someone who's just as dangerous as he is, I think.
Yeah,
and because last season it was very one-dimensional with Aston Villa. It was, if we foul Grealish off the pitch, we've won the game, because the creativity and the finishing isn't coming from anywhere else with Aston Villa. Whereas now they've got another focal point in the attack, and I think that's what happened with Watkins. Obviously, some really poor mistakes from Liverpool's defence, and that'll be something that will be drilled into them by Klopp in training over the next couple of weeks. But let's just talk about Villa. They're so good, and I think Dean Smith's gone. Yeah,
Dean Smith's tactics on Saturday not only got it right for Aston Villa, but also exposed the fundamental weakness in Liverpool's tactical way of playing. You know, you talk about the way that they have played for the last 3 or 4 seasons. It's been this formidable, high energy, high press, high line that allows the fullbacks to overlap and allows the pitch to get smaller, so that they're really big workhorse midfield can collect the ball and play off the wingers. Yeah. Whereas Aston Villa on Saturday actually said, you've got to play Liverpool like you're not as good as Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because if you come out like Arsenal did and try and actually play against Liverpool, try and play football against Liverpool, they're going to absolutely run through you. And they will. They'll run you over like a truck. Chelsea tried to do it, and Arsenal tried to do it, and in both instances,
which is why I'm not extremely scared about the Liverpool game for West Ham in a couple of weeks, because of how defensively solid we've been against a couple of the other teams that are, Wolves and Leicester are quality, but I don't want to go too far into that.
Yeah,
it's just, love Villa, 100% start. Who'd have thought it? I want to see them do really well because they're a proper Premier League club. And
brilliant. There's nothing bad you can say about them. Superb performance at the weekend, and I don't really like Brummies, but
Don't say that. I've got friends. All right.
Okay. No. Do you know what? They're wonderful people. I don't like Villa fans because some of them shouted at me at a Chelsea game once.
Oh, poor Sam.
Yeah, we won, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, Tottenham. This is going to be through gritted teeth.
Really good.
This is going to be through gritted teeth for me because I hate them. But
they were so good, though.
They were superb. Son and Kane again. Son and Kane are looking remarkable.
If both of them play 38 games.
Yeah. Oh, they'll challenge. I was watching the deadline day the other day on Sky Sports, and they had Harry Redknapp on, and he said if those two can continue to play the way they're playing, they can challenge for the title. Honestly, I can see it happening if Son and Kane stay fit and play the way they're playing at the moment. Because let's be honest, between them, they're good for goals every game.
Yeah, definitely, and just the link up that they have is just ridiculous, and I really like those two. Obviously, I don't like Tottenham scoring, I don't like Tottenham winning, but as a football fan, you've got to appreciate it. And just completely outplayed United the whole way through. I think the red card obviously killed off the game a little bit, but just really pressed on the pressure point of Manchester United. And if they can sort of continue this run of form, I think they've got West Ham, so that'll be a good test for them to see whether they're actually about it this season. Not that West Ham are the pillar of the league, but the last two games and the performances of sort of you know what I mean?
I mean, brilliant. Yeah, I'm completely on your wavelength.
You
mate.
get
on your
what
wavelength.
I mean. Right, I'll let you talk about the last one.
Well, I wanted to have a quick conversation about Ben Chilwell because I was thinking before this, the left backs that Chelsea have had since we sold Ashley Cole, who, if we're being completely honest, Ashley Cole on his day was probably the best left back in the world.
Yeah.
Arguably the best left back, one of the best left backs the Premier League's ever seen, and he was superb for Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah.
And he left a big hole in our side that we haven't really filled with anyone. With Marcus Alonso came in the Conte era, Azpilicueta played there for a little bit. But we never had anyone particularly good or particularly who looked like they would be a mainstay. But, Ben Chilwell's come in. He's young. He looks really good going forward. He's really confident on the ball. He's quick. And I think as introductions and derbies go, I think Saturday was probably the best he could have hoped for. It was a clean sheet, an assist and a goal.
Yeah. And just looked really good. I was saying to you beforehand how, he's just sort of sealed up that defence quite nicely where Marcus Alonso hasn't in recent times. And I think that's something that's indispensable to Chelsea. And going forward, they need to keep him fit and they need to play to his strengths as well. He's so good going forward, and I think Frank realised that because he was halfway up the pitch the entire time. He was basically next to Werner when you were in attack. So and it worked, and against a solid Crystal Palace side who have done quite well against good teams in recent weeks. Everton, undeserved defeat, some would say, but Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to watching him link up with Pulisic on the left-hand side and the dynamic between the two of them. I think it'll be really exciting. Yeah. Naughty power rankings. Power rankings. The teams that played... Can you guess two of them?
Really badly. I think you probably guess
Guess
all three of them
yeah.
if you think hard enough.
Yeah.
They're all based in the last two games of the weekend because they're the two really awful standout performances. And there's one player who had a standout performance in the standout performances. Liverpool, obviously, we'll talk about first. A potential chink in their armour has been exposed in the risk they play when they bring in this high line.
Well, they always have. And
they always have, but
it's worked so well for them. But I think now teams are sort of working it out, and Klopp really needs to adapt to this sort of change in how teams are approaching Liverpool. Otherwise, he's going to have another couple of those. Not maybe to the extent of the Aston Villa result, but he's definitely going to have a few more of those results.
Yeah, I think Liverpool are taking a massive risk when they play this high line. And I think Aston Villa actually on Saturday said, "Do you know what? If we go out and try and play Liverpool, we'll get run over. So the best thing we can do is sit back." They'll probably, because if they'd have come out and tried to play against Liverpool, they would have conceded 2 goals anyway.
Yeah.
If they sit back, Dean Smith's probably sat there thinking, I've got Ollie Watkins, I've got Jack Grealish, I've got Barkley, I've got Bertrand Traore who came on, I've got a lot of pace going forward.
Yeah.
If we sit back, we'll probably ship 2 goals anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's Liverpool.
But he
knows that they can go on the break.
Yeah.
And I think they played Liverpool on Saturday perfectly on Sunday. And the thing is, with Liverpool to nullify this and to stop this issue of them getting hit on the counter-attack, they would have to drop deeper. But then that nullifies their fullbacks. Because if they're dropping deeper, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold have got further to travel to get back.
But the thing is, they've done that so well. They've done that back and forward shuttle running the entire time, and that's what makes Liverpool so good. But I feel like the pace that Aston Villa possessed, you're dead on when you say that. That's sort of what killed teams. And I think if your team's got pace up front, there's absolutely no reason why you can't really expose the flaws that Liverpool have.
Yeah, which makes me very excited because we've got Pulisic and Werner and Havertz and Ziyech and all these players. And I think there is a lot of pace on a lot of Premier League teams now. So Liverpool potentially could struggle this season coming up against these teams away from home.
Yeah.
Because let's be completely honest about this, every team in the Premier League will have watched this game and will have seen that this Liverpool team are no longer invincible. No. They're beatable and they are, Aston Villa have given them a whooping on Sunday night.
Yeah.
7-2 is a battering, and that doesn't just happen. So I think teams will have figured that out and will be ready for Liverpool now. Like you said, Liverpool have got Everton next.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll predict that later on. But yeah, the next one is sort of tied in with it. Is Adrian. I mean, I was sort of torn between Adrian and Harry Maguire, but we'll talk about Maguire later on. Adrian, I think. Is that one of the worst performances I've seen from a goalkeeper? No, I've watched West Ham play.
I've watched Kepa play.
Yeah, that is true. We're used to it. I watched Roberto play, so, Yeah,
me and Jamie have been through the ringer with keepers.
Adrian was so poor. The mistake for the first goal, obviously, completely his fault. And again, I'll cut him a little bit of slack. 3 deflection goals. No goalkeeper in the world is saving them because no one's got reactions that quick. But
I think in general he just doesn't look to the standard. And Liverpool have got to accept this is 8 weeks now. This is 8 weeks they've got him for because Alisson is injured. So whether they continue to play Adrian or whether they play the next keeper in the roster, which is a youth keeper.
Yeah, Chalming Kelleher, I think his name is. But
it's whether they want to dig that deep. They haven't signed anyone, so it really remains to be seen whether Adrian's going to regain his confidence and start playing because this could be a real issue again for Liverpool in the next. I
always loved Adrian when he was at West Ham. I thought he brought a lot of passion and a good energy to the team, but at the same time he had so many mistakes in him.
Yeah,
which is why when he went to Liverpool, I was a little bit like, okay. I mean, I get it, it's a backup, but if Alisson gets injured, which he did at the start of last season as well, it's going to be a struggle for Liverpool if they don't shore up their goalkeeper position. But
their only option now is to buy from the Championship.
Yeah.
So we will find out very soon.
But yeah, last one, Man United. 6 goals conceded. An absolute defensive, I think calamity is probably the right word for it.
I don't think there's words in the English language to describe how bad this was.
Yeah.
It was
Luke Shaw,
disastrous.
Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire dropped 2 of the worst performances I've seen this season, definitely. It was up there with Marcus Alonso's performance against West Brom.
Yeah, awful.
And some other ones, but they go out my mind. Maybe Adrian, as we've just spoken about.
The thing is with the Marcus Alonso one, Frank dragged him off at half time.
Yeah.
Manchester United left both of them on till the end of the game.
Yeah. I think you've got to play Williams there now.
You've got to play. Look, we can talk about, because there's a lot of issues at Manchester United.
They've got Alex Telles, don't they? They've got Alex Telles now.
They've got Alex Telles now. There's a lot of issues at Manchester United. The players are one that I will talk about after the other two, because I think a lot of the blame of this has been taken away from the players.
Yeah.
Obviously, there hasn't been enough money spent if you're Manchester United.
No.
Saying that, they've just bought Telles for 20-odd million.
Yeah.
I think it was from Porto, and they've spent 40 on Van der Beek. So 60 million. I understand that they probably needed a centre-back, but it's not like he's spent nothing.
Yeah, this has been said in a lot of things recently. Go on.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think, tactically on Sunday looked completely inept.
Yeah.
At half-time, Manchester United are 4-1 down, and he takes off Bruno Fernandes. There's been reports that was because of a changing room issue. But if your players are doing that, and you're being forced to take off probably your best player in favour of keeping on a misfiring centre-back, he could have quite easily taken Maguire off and put Fernandes back on.
Yeah.
If the spat is the reason, he could quite easily have taken Maguire off and kept Fernandes on. That would have made more sense, because he's taken Fernandes off and then put Van der Beek on half an hour later.
Yeah.
It makes no sense tactically whatsoever. But the blame for this has got to fall primarily with the players, because the performance on Sunday was nothing short of a team that... If the players had gone out there and completely given their all, first of all, they wouldn't have conceded 6 goals because they are good enough to defend and work to not concede 6 goals.
Yeah.
They would have probably shipped 3 or 4 considering the red card. But they, as soon as that red card was given, looked completely lost.
Yeah.
And looked like they'd given up.
Yeah, and you look to the bench, Lindelof, Mata, Lingard, Fred, Van der Beek and McTominay. Bringing Van der Beek on in the 68th minute is something that baffles me. I don't know why he's not starting. When he's come on, since he's come to United, he's been quality every time.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he's not starting. And then bringing on Scott McTominay before him is something that I will never get. And these sort of tactical decisions is one that United fans are getting tired of. And you do wonder about the managerial acumen that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has. But, 10 men in after 30 minutes. Just a crap performance. And Luke Shaw tackling into Lucas Moura towards the end was one of the most laughable decisions I've ever seen. How was that not a red card? I don't know.
I was going to say, you United fans want to talk about the red card from Martial, and it wasn't a red card from Martial, but Luke Shaw should have gone later on in the game.
Oh, it's the most stonewall red card I've ever seen in my life.
You want to talk about endangering a player?
Yeah.
Or violent conduct.
The ball's 10 yards in front of him.
And it's because Luke Shaw has understood that he is either not fast enough or not good enough to keep up with Lucas Moura, who's completely done him.
And also shows a serial lack of confidence in his other defenders and his goalkeeper.
Yeah, and himself.
Yeah.
And it's also for him to know that is taking his next 3 games into serious risk, making a tackle like that.
Yeah,
This is what I mean
can't
about the
believe it wasn't
attitude
a
of these
red.
players. This is what I mean about the attitude of these players.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw knows he's going to get suspended for 3 games, and at that point they hadn't signed Tellez.
Yeah.
So there was no backup.
Mm.
You've got to be more professional than to throw yourself in a tackle out of just pure aggression and frustration.
Mm.
And Paul Pogba, I thought, was nothing short of disgraceful on Sunday. Just waltzed around, looked uninterested, as he has done in games where Manchester United have played poorly. You know, I'm not a massive fan of Pogba. I never have been a big fan of Pogba. I think he's got all the ability in the world, but I just think his attitude is awful. The Aurier goal, Aurier's picked the ball up, and Pogba is actually at a point where if he sprints, he can block a shot. But he's allowed Aurier to let a shot off.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if Alex Ferguson was in charge of that team, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, and Paul Pogba wouldn't be playing the rest of the season.
Yeah.
They'd have been gone before the season had started.
Yeah.
Alex Ferguson sold Paul Pogba for a reason to Juve.
Yeah.
Because he saw an issue in him. And they brought him back, and Alex Ferguson was absolutely right about his attitude, is that he believes he's bigger than Manchester United, and that showed on Sunday in his performance against Tottenham.
Yeah.
As soon as the game went against him, he wasn't interested in trying to salvage it at all.
No.
Anyway, rant over.
Good
Let's move on to predicting. Let's get on to predicting.
I can put that in the
weekend.
title.
Yeah.
Rant.
Let's go on to predicting the weekend. We'll just clickbait them. First game of next weekend, big one: Everton versus Liverpool.
Massive.
Is it
biggest game of the
season
season
defining?
so far?
It is definitely the biggest game of the season. It is could be potentially title defying. I don't want to overstep with Everton, but it could be title defying.
Because it's a derby as well, that's the big thing. Yeah.
If Liverpool have still got Adrian in goal, which they probably will do, Thiago Mane are back though.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-2.
I'm going to say 1-1. I don't think there'll be a winner in this game. And Merseyside derbies are always quite drab. There's a lot of build-up to it, and then it sort of goes 1-0 Liverpool, or 2-1 Liverpool, or a 1-1 draw, or a 2-2 draw. So that's what it has been in recent years. Obviously, Everton looking really good, so I'd like to see Everton do well. Because, of course, you've got to go for the underdog here, and Everton are the underdog still, despite the starts to the season. But we'll
definitely
very interesting game, that one. I'll be watching keenly.
It's one of those games that promises fireworks. Whether it delivers them, different thing.
Yeah.
Chelsea versus Southampton at home at the Bridge. I'm pretty confident. Okay. So I'll say a 4-0 Chelsea win again. Why not?
I'm gonna say 3-1 to Chelsea.
Ziyech and Pulisic will be fit by this game.
Yeah.
They're both ready to come back. So this will be the first game we will play of the season with our full strength side.
Well, will Ziyech start, or would you reckon they'll go off the bench?
Potentially. I think maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Either of them have travelled, so they'll have 2 weeks with Frank Lampard at the training ground working on getting match fit. So hopefully our front four will be Pulisic, Havertz, Ziyech and Werner.
Scary.
Which is really exciting for me, because I've kind of waited to see that play out, and I think Southampton haven't looked great. I'm being very confident. I think Southampton looked all right at the weekend, but deer in the headlights playing against Chelsea.
Yeah,
with that front four, we'll see.
It's
Leicester,
a season
Aston
of
Villa.
shocks, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, do we go for Aston Villa for this one?
I can't see it.
Really?
Personally. Away at Leicester, I think they played really well the other day, but I think a lot of their performance was in taking Liverpool by storm and taking Liverpool, giving Liverpool a bit of a shock. But
I don't agree.
In terms of consistency, I can't see Leicester losing. Okay. So I'm going to go. Personally, but, yeah. I'm going to go 1-0 Leicester and call it there. I think Jamie Vardy will score.
3-2 Aston Villa.
Newcastle, Manchester United. Newcastle, Manchester United.
Come on, Newcastle.
Be an interesting day in the old group chat. This.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely an interesting afternoon.
Newcastle. I'm saying it early. Misery compiler.
I'm also going to back Newcastle because I think they've got all the spirit in their team at the moment to pull off a result like
And
this.
the tools.
Always used to be.
They've got a Steve
always
Bruce
used to be
sort of side.
Always a good fixture. This one,
Yeah.
Newcastle, Man United.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those two bastions of the Premier League playing against each other.
Yeah, high scoring as well all the time, isn't it? If I remember rightly.
Yeah. I'm going to go. Do you know what? 3-1 Newcastle. I think this is going to be a really tough day for United, and I think this could.
I'm changing my mind now. I'm changing my mind. 2-2.
2-2. Next one, relegation dogfight. Yeah. Sheffield United against Fulham.
This is so crucial for both sides.
Yeah, so Sheffield United. This is a 6-pointer for both teams, especially for Sheffield United because this is their banker in the next 5 games they've got.
Both of the next 2 games are relegation 6-pointers at the moment.
I think the next 4 games that Sheffield United have got, they've got us, City, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
And someone else is in there.
I
think this is the game they have to win.
Yeah.
This is non-negotiable. If they lose this, they're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
So I am going to say 1-0 Sheffield United. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I don't think Fulham are going to have enough away from home.
3-0 Sheffield United, I'm saying.
I think they'll squeak it, but I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular. West Brom against Burnley, really dull.
No, but another one that's interesting because of the
It is interesting. It is interesting, but it's one of those games. You look at the two teams, you're like, oh.
I fancy West Brom here, though.
I fancy Burnley.
Okay.
So we're going to disagree again.
That's fine.
I fancy Burnley. I think Burnley will win 1-0.
Okay. 2-1.
Do you know what? 2-1 Burnley.
Okay.
2-1 Burnley.
I'm going the other way. 2-1 West Brom.
All right.
City Arsenal.
Next one.
Youch.
This is another Youch game. City Arsenal is a big game for both teams. I think in stating their intent for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
If City lose this, is Pep Guardiola being questioned? Is the reign of terror of that City team coming to an end? And it is obviously the Padawan versus the Jedi in a way, with Arteta coming up against Arteta coming against his old mentor. So
yeah,
we all know
what happened the first time when they went against each other. Obviously, David Luiz dropped the disaster class and Arsenal lost 3-0. But we'll see what happens now with the new look Arsenal sort of morale and system as well. I think those are two things that combine.
Potentially a debut for Thomas Partey as well.
It'll be really interesting to see how he goes.
Definitely add something to Arsenal's side. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal because I really back Arsenal this year.
We're going to disagree again. Well. I'm sorry.
We can have a scrap.
We're just scrapping on everyone. 3-1 City.
Oh, I can see it.
I feel like
don't apologise.
If City get a good start early, they're just going to pummel Arsenal into the ground, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, another really big one on Sunday as well. 2 massive games.
This is the weirdest derby though. It's like the weirdest derby in English football.
It's a weird derby, but they absolutely hate each other. Crystal Palace and Brighton.
They really do. It's the bird badge derby.
2 good sides as well.
Yeah, look, both of them looking really good. Do you know what I like about this one is that they're both attacking.
Yeah,
in a way, Brighton and Crystal Palace both look exciting going forward. Crystal Palace didn't on Saturday. Crystal Palace were very ready to sit behind the ball, but Wilfried Zaha against Tariq Lamptey will be a very interesting matchup. And
I think Zaha will be after another transfer window without moving. We'll see how he does against Brighton. It's always a really good match because of the emotions running high. Obviously, no fans in the stadium, so that's upsetting. But yeah, what were you saying for this one?
I like Brighton. 2-0 Brighton.
Sam, you're gonna hate me.
Are you gonna disagree with me again?
I'm just doing it for the sake of it. No, I'm not. I genuinely, I like Crystal Palace this season. So, but I don't think, a draw, because derbies always end up in draws, don't they? 1-1.
All right.
Well fought. And last game
the
of the
next
weekend.
one, we're going to agree on this one. Irons!
Oh, the boys!
Oh, 4-0 West Ham. It's not going to happen.
I would cry.
Mate, I would cry. I would cry. No, it might not happen, but hopefully, by some minor miracle, West Ham can get a result against Tottenham. I think Tottenham will be too good on the day. I think having come off the back of beating Man United 6-1, I think you're kind of in for a tough afternoon. But then again, I've thought that both weekends prior to this with West Ham, and you've
confounded
pulled out
expectations.
Results. So who knows what's going to happen?
Well, it depends if Moyes is out of self-isolation or not.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna say a West Ham win. I might shoot myself in the foot here.
Okay. That's going to be public knowledge.
Yeah, I'm putting
that's
it out
going to be
now.
out there.
2-1. 2-1 West Ham.
Bold. West Ham 2-0 Tottenham.
Screw you.
Leeds versus Wolves. Let's find one we can agree on.
Leeds.
Yeah.
Yay! Look at us.
I'll go with you on it. I think Leeds at Ellen Road. I think Leeds have looked really good this year, and I think Wolves have looked pretty average so far. So yeah, I'll back it. Leeds against Wolves. That seems like a very exciting afternoon of football.
High scoring.
Evening.
Hopefully.
No, be a good way to end the weekend.
It won't. Nah. Oh my God, the Barclays! It's just the
you
Barclays.
You can't predict the Barclays at the moment. It's completely. It's like a lottery.
It's the magic of the Barclays.
You've got the relegation teams beating the champions. You've got
West Ham playing football.
You've got West Ham playing football. You've got United getting beaten 6-1.
I'm gonna say 3-2 Leeds.
Yeah, I will go with 2-0 Leeds.
Okay, cool. All right, that just about wraps it up, I think.
We yet again are closing. This is actually probably the best close we've had. I haven't gone off on a tangent yet.
I don't want you to. Actually, no, it was really funny last time.
You can't make it happen. You can't instigate a tangent. It just it goes off on one.
Well, you're saying that while going off on a tangent, but okay.
It's fine.
Okay,
you know what? Yeah, exactly. Point proven. We've gone off on a tangent again. Now it makes closing it really awkward. Guys, it's been a blast. If you're a Liverpool fan or a United fan,
that sounded really bad on my end, and that's going to be the recording end, so that's going to be really funny.
Don't matter. I think they can get the gist. To be fair, the noise that it probably did sound like is very similar to what I was trying to say. So, guys, stay inside, self-isolate if you need to. Don't cough on anyone.
Yeah, and stay tuned to your favourite football podcast on YouTube.
COVID-friendly.
The Off the Line podcast.
We're very COVID-friendly here.
Yeah, next week we'll be doing a Q&A. We'll announce that obviously tomorrow when this comes out, Friday at 12:45 p.m. We'll want you guys to get in some questions, football related or not.
Don't stick to football related questions because I feel like we've talked a lot about football and you guys want to get to know us, the inner workings of our mind.
Aren't we interesting?
We are basically a walking gossip column. So if you boys want to get involved with that,
please do. And we're going to try and do a transfer roundup as well. Obviously, it might not be completely finished by the time we do it next week. And we'll talk briefly about the England games. They haven't happened yet for us, obviously. We're playing Wales tonight, I think. But
bloody Dragons.
The bloody Dragons. That's got an extra meaning for the Winchester
boys in the
Futsal Society lot. But yeah. Cheers for watching. Cheers for listening.
All right, from Futsal's Katie Price and Jamie Lambert, we will sign off and leave you boys to it in a bit.
Cheers, lads. Bye.